Hello everybody, my name is 60 People, welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new. And today we're going to continue What If, but first, I'd like to make a little announcement. I'm almost at 100 subscribers, and if we get that goal, I will do a 100 subscriber special. And luckily for you and me, I have a 2-week off vacation for Christmas, weirdly. So you're going to be seeing a lot of videos. So if you subscribe now, you'll be able to see a lot of videos from me. So every day, I mean, like you're going to get one every day. So subscribe, bro, and hit the post notification bells. And like the video. But anyways, me begging you to subscribe out of the way. Let's get right into the what if. So we continue our story right after Deku has defeated Stain and saved Ida from Stain. Well, of course, without Ida losing an arm, but yeah. So Todoroki, Ida, and Deku then went to the hospital, and Deku, instead of healing himself with the deer, he decided he'll just wait out the hospital visit. So he sits out that hospital visit, seeing Todoroki blow up on the dog detective, and it's like, whoa. But yeah. Deku then goes home and just waits until the internships are done because, you know, he kind of can't do it right now with his injured body. So after the internships, the teachers announce that there's going to be a little mystery test that they're going to take. So everyone tries to figure out what it is. Of course, Deku doesn't know, so he's not going to guess because he doesn't want to feel dumb. Relatable. So after a while, they announce that's going to happen. So Class 1A groups up and meets up with Aizawa, which then Aizawa announces that the test is the teachers versus the students. It's a 2-on-1 battle. Teachers on 1, students on 2. So then Aizawa then calls out names and makes them into groups, with Deku and Bakugo grouping up. And of course, since Bakugo and him are best buddies, they're happy about this. Not in the original timeline where Bakugo was a piece of shit. But anyways, him and Bakugo are ready to fight whoever it is, super confident, until they hear a giant crater appear behind them. Look behind them, and they see All Might grinning with weights on him. And then they're a whole lot less excited. So they brushed off, thinking they can just beat him because they're pretty strong. Then after they all get set, Deku and Bakugo stance up and are ready to fight All Might. And before any of them can do anything, All Might gut checks Deku, sending him real far away. And so Deku can't use his annoying stuff. But Deku just catches himself with this bird, sending him right back at All Might, throwing himself at him, and the bird charges up lightning. While Bakugo fights All Might by shooting explosives. Of course, this is not really affecting All Might. He's just punching through it and punching air to just knock off Bakugo's stuff. And when the bird comes in, he just smashes it to pieces. So afterwards, then Deku sends out his dog, who actually starts boxing with All Might, and they actually start clashing blows. Think Nomu versus All Might clashing blows like that. But then after that animation quits, the dog spins and cuts All Might slightly, but only cutting his costume. And then the dog tries to go for another one, but All Might catches the dog's fist and sends it into a building. This, of course, incinerating it. Then Bakugo says he's going to charge up an EMP, and so Deku says he'll confirm it. So he sends out his ox and elephant, and the ox and elephant actually pin All Might, with the ox slamming his legs with the elephant, crushing him. So then Deku tells All Might, Bakugo now, so Bakugo pulls the pin and sends it out. But All Might gets his bearings, smashes the ox's head to the ground, and grabs the elephant and puts it in front of the blast, which Deku just desummons it so it doesn't take the blast. So All Might just grabs onto Goo. And so this blast hits him point blank, and All Might just drops back slightly. But he tanks it because it's All Might. And then he gut checks Bakugo, hitting him with the thing he did in the original, where he hit him so hard Bakugo spewed out spit. So Bakugo gets sent flying into a car, bouncing off it actually, with All Might about to go for Deku. But Deku sends out the snake to wrap around All Might fully, and All Might's kind of restricted and trying to pull his out. And with Deku seeing no other option, he decides he's out of there. So he summons his bird again and just sets the bird to dip. And so the bird grabs Deku and just zooms out. With then All Might knowing what Deku's about to do, he breaks out of his binds, knowing Bakugo is straight down, which yes, Bakugo is actually dead out. So Deku's going and All Might's trying to catch up to him, but the bird keeps weaving All Might and Deku keeps pulling out animals to block him. And eventually Deku's almost there when All Might sends out a Detroit Smash, disturbing the air, making the bird collapse. And All Might's about to grab Deku, but Deku, the bell rings and Deku's confused what happened until he looks where the bird landed and realized the bird landed right under All Might. And the bird grabbed the cuffs, and it cuffed All Might. And this was from the bird's self-awareness that would have worked. The bird clinged to life, and just not to become goo, just to put the cuffs on. And so the bird goops out, but Deku grabs his thing. So All Might is fully captured. And Bakugo and Deku clear the exam with barely making it. After Bakugo and Deku win, they watch the other exams. They go exactly how they did in the original, except Ida, doesn't pass because his arm kind of threw him off with his speed. He's not used to it yet. But anyways, actually, I don't know if he passed in the original. I remember after. I'm going to say after all, aren't I? Continuing, after the test, everyone is told that they still go to the forest, but they'll have to do extra assignments. So Deku gets ready for the trip and gets on the bus. They drive over to the forest, and eventually they get out and meet the lady that can collapse rocks. But Deku just summons his bird and catches himself and makes him land where that bus is. And so Aizawa and her just let him come with them because, good on him for being tactical. So Deku gets to go with them on the bus, and it takes him a bit longer because Deku isn't there. So after Deku gets out of the bus, everyone yells at him for leaving them behind. After Deku meets Koda, and Koda hits him in the balls. And yeah, same exactly thing that happened in the original. And yeah, honestly, not much change. Deku actually just does the same thing he does in the original, where he learns how to fight with the buff Catman. And yep. So the day continues, and Deku finds Koda's missing and goes to bring the curry. And he meets up with Koda, and Koda just vents on Deku on how his parents were left him behind, and he feels abandoned by them. After Deku, was talking to Koda, Koda vent. He's about to talk when Muscular shows up, but Deku summons his elephant, which blocks the punch that Muscular is about to throw at Deku. Which it actually absorbs it completely, doesn't take any damage, which Deku's shocked by, because usually his elephant is really not that tanky before, because when All Might punched it, just dropped immediately, but when this guy punched it didn't do anything. Little does Deku know he's actually the physically stronger he gets, the physically stronger the animals get. By the way, Deku in this version is pretty a bit scrawny. And he's now getting ripped. So the elephant then starts beating the shite out of Muscular. I'm not even joking, bro. He grabs the elephant tusk, pushes him into the air, then leaps into the air, crushing him, the elephant crushing it, Muscular with his weight. Then the elephant grabs Muscular's legs and just starts Hulk smashing him like Hulk did to Loki. And then the Muscular eventually starts turning the tables on the elephant, and the elephant starts losing. But Deku just summons the bird creature that charges up lightning and hits Muscular with it, which actually sends shockwaves through his whole body, making his muscles disturb, because his muscles are electrified, so the muscles start rumbling, and then they explode off him, which make Deku get the chance to desummon the elephant and use his dog to slash the absolute crap out of Muscular, to the point where he's bleeding out of out of his chest. And eventually the dog, losing it a bit, cuts Muscular's throat, grabs it with its teeth, and tears Muscular's head clean off. And Koda gets shocked, like, holy shit. But he thanks Deku anyways, because, he saved his life. Of course, Koda doesn't know that this guy killed his parents, but still, the guy tried to kill him, so he's a hater, still. Oh. Yeah. So after Muscular gets his head torn off and dies, Deku desummons his animals, then summons his bird back, and the bird takes Koda over to the Aizawa, with Deku sliding down the hill to find his classmates. So Deku rolls and then runs into the forest, and Koda gets back there safely, and the bird actually helps out with Aizawa. Fighting Dabi. So Dabi gets actually almost captured, but luckily for him, he just burns out of it. Luckily for him, it's a clone, so he's fine. So then, eventually Deku desummons itself, which Deku is glad for, because he can feel it. By the way, he never found anyone while that was just happening. He was just running through the forest. He eventually finds... He eventually finds Bakugo and Todoroki fighting off Moonfish, which, as you know, Moonfish gets absolutely obliterated Tokoyami, and so Tokoyami Shuma absolutely obliterates him, and so Deku turns on his, pulls out his cat and roars. And then Tokiyami's quirk turns off and he actually goes unconscious. So Deku turns it off immediately, picking up Tokiyami. Actually, forgot his name, but the guy with the multiple arms and can change the multiple arms into different things, like mouths and ears, picks up Tokiyami, like he did to Deku in the original. So when Compress shows up, it's really just to hold everyone at full stamina and nobody, getting distracted by Tokiyami. So Deku actually summons his animals more, and they, beat the shit out of Compress. But Compress luckily gets himself away with the giant boulder, pushing most of Deku's animals back. It doesn't really matter what animal is summoned, he just does the same thing every single time, no matter what animal. But eventually he gets over to Bakugo, grabbing him, and then Compress then sends out another marble, 2 marbles actually, to summon out 2 twice Dobbies, which just explode in fire, sending Compress forward with the rock behind him. And so he goes flying, and Deku, Todoroki, and the multiple armed guy chase after him. And Deku gets shot forward by Todoroki, and Deku actually just grapples Compress to the ground. But sucks for him. Spinner, the trans person, sorry, that's the only reason I remember her name, but yeah, her, then jump Deku to push him off Compress, but Deku just pushes him off with the dog. Then he pulls out the elephant to try and grab the marble from him, but Dobby incinerates the elephant, the real Dobby this time. And Deku then, just watches as Baku gets pulled through the portal, while every other villain just walks through it because he's tired. So after Deku goes unconscious from how much he's exerted his body, because remember, he's been pushing out a lot of animals here. So, yeah. Then Deku wakes up in the hospital and immediately sets out to go find his best friend. Yes, Baku is his best friend. Of course he is. So everyone groups up, and yeah, of course, Deku Ida punches Deku again, like he did in the original, but, same thing as the original, he comes with him. Actually, this time he has a robotic arm this time. Okay. Yeah. So they just get over to the lookout, no disguises this time. And, yeah. They get there and are about to set Deku free. Deku plans on just sending out just as many guys as possible to pin all the things. His best strategy right now is elephant, tiger, win. Because remember, quirk, eraser, the tiger. Yeah. So when they're about to enact this plan, they hear a knock around. Then they look around the corner where All Might's sitting there with other heroes. So they bust down the door, and when they're about to get, Bakugo, Bakugo starts puking up goo, which Deku is concerned about, so he runs over to Bakugo, actually jumping into the goo, and that also sends him where Bakugo is going, which is outside of the blast radius. So the building explodes with Deku and Bakugo outside of his range, with also, of course, them at the range too. So Bakugo and Deku fend off the League of Villains. And while they're doing that, the plan that happened in the original happens again. Yeah. So when Baku realizes this, he tells Deku to go, but Deku says he's got this, and so Baku sends himself flying. And so Deku then summons 3 animals at a time: the tiger, the wolf, and the elephant. And so the tiger roars, and then the wolf and the elephant just beat the living crap out of all the villains, with the tiger, with the dog losing it again, because the dog is really in for that jugular. And he actually, in this timeline, is the one that tears Compress's arm off. Compress doesn't lose it to Endeavor in Overhaul this time. He loses to Deku's dog. And before any more serious damage happens, Dabi kills the quote-unquote kills the dog, and then Deku just then takes away the dog again. Wondering how Dabi, took out the dog, he actually used Toga's knife that he took off her person and threw it at. And so Deku just summons the snake to beat the shite out of Dabi. And eventually, All For One, getting annoyed, he sends out an air shock that All Might goes and blocks. Oh yeah, when this was all happening, All Might versus All For One was happening, with the camera and people looking at Deku, hoping he's safe. So All Might blocks the punch, and it hurts a whole lot. This actually reduces him to a skinny form, doing the whole big reveal that he's skinny, with Deku also being shocked. But Deku immediately improvises and sends out his deer, desummoning the elephant, and desummoning everything and only summoning the deer, which then the deer heals All Might back to his buff form, with All Might being back in top condition, and he's ready to fight more. And then Deku summons the elephant to beat the crap out of everyone else. And while the fight happening with All For One, All Might actually starts to lose in this timeline. I'm setting something up. Chill. So eventually All Might's on the back foot, almost dead, when All For One's about to point blank All Might. But Deku jumps in front of it, gets hit directly in the stomach, rearranging his guts, bro. Actually sending a tiny hole through his stomach, hurting a whole lot. And when Deku's coughing out blood, because that hurt a whole lot, that actually ruptured a lot of his ribs and stomach. Then Deku puts his things together, basically hoping something will crawl through that portal to save All Might. And when it's happening, we hear big thumping coming through a portal that's behind Deku. And then we see it burst through the portal, and it's revealed to be Maharaga, who just batters Deku out of the way instantly. Which, of course, that hurt a lot, so Deku is out cold now. With Maharaga then fighting All For One. With Maharaga adapting to every single thing All For One does. Which All For One shoots his air blast to start out, which, of course, Maharaga tanks, because that shit don't mean shit to him. And he punched All For One. And then he sends out his blades to slash up All For One, which he just heals from, and then All For One sends out his biggest blast he got at him, at the Maharaga. But Maharaga, this time, doesn't even get phased by it and just keeps fighting All For One. And eventually All For One tries to steal its quirk, thinking it's a human being, but it doesn't work, which shocks All For One. And then Maharaga then starts to crush All For One into like like a cube. So he starts crushing All For One, which is actually working. And for All For One can do anything, Maharaga splats him like into paste. And then he starts, just rubbing it in. And then Maharaga throws the blood to the ground. And then Maharaga just sits there, kind of standing there, waiting for something to happen. When Deku gets up from his wound and looks over to Maharaga, which Maharaga looks over to Deku. Maharaga walks over to Deku, picks up Deku, and makes him stand up. Then Maharaga opens a portal and walks through it. And now Deku has Maharaga straight for his disposal. And yeah, of course in this timeline, Maharaga is a bit more summons itself than Deku summoning it. So Deku decides he's only going to summon this creature again when he needs it, like really needs it. So then Deku just drops again because, he has a hole through him. And the reason I say that is because I don't want Deku to just spam Maharaga like in the memes of Megumi spamming Maharaga, even though he used him one time. Anyways. Yeah. I think that's where I'm going to leave things for right now. Because, Maharaga showed up. I think that's where you want me to end it. Anyways, hope you liked the video. Don't gotta say any of the like, subscribe stuff because I already said it. Well, I already said it. Goodbye.